So finally, and we've been talking about this for a long time, the Premier Inn has opened behind Marks and Spencer. It's been interesting for everyone that walks in and out of that shop to see what's going on. Simon, you are literally opening one of these places every couple of weeks around the British Isles at the moment, and further afield. I think Germany got a lot of operations, but I mean, supply and demand, it's there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a very, very sophisticated way of thinking about how we extend our network, both in the UK and abroad. And we have 77,000 rooms in our system at the moment. We have a committed pipeline of another 13,000 rooms, which are hotels that we're building across the UK. And we think ultimately there is a market for more than 100,000 rooms in the UK for Premier Inn.
You're the sort of McDonald's of rooms, right? I mean, it's basic, but it's good, and everyone knows what they're going to get. It's on the tin, right?
If you're referring to the standardisation and consistency of the product, then I'm very happy to be associated in that way. Yeah, we're a very consistent business, and we build the same products wherever we go.
So why the Isle of Man? I know Jersey's already there. You've got Guernsey, 2020, something like 2021.
Yeah, 1-to-1, yes, absolutely.
Why suddenly the offshores?
It's not suddenly the offshore. It's been a gradual process of building in big cities over the course of the last 20 years and then expanding out around the cities. And as I say, we have a very sophisticated process by which we determine which markets work for us. And interestingly, we have 700 rooms currently in the pipeline of either being secured or being built in the islands around the mainland of the UK. So these island market economies are very, very interesting for us. And as you said, we're already in Jersey. We've been opening for 8 months in Jersey, and we've already signed our second hotel there. So we're opening in the Shetland, the Isle of Skye, and various other places. Yeah.
Well, you're almost like, I think your share price has been under pressure because you're not getting enough bed nights in, are you? You're actually oversupplying them, aren't you?
I don't think we're oversupplying, but the hotel market's very cyclical. So when you have a fixed inventory, like a hotel room, sometimes the market demand is greater, and sometimes it's lower than your actual fixed inventory. We're not worried about that in the short term. You know, if you look at all long-term hotel market cycles, you know, good, consistent quality products always win out, and therefore we have a great degree of confidence in the long term.
And the price is what you'd pay in the rest of the British Isles, would you? Standardise your rates and things?
As we do across the UK, what we do is we take into account what is happening in the local marketplace, and we price our product accordingly based on the standard of accommodation that's available. Obviously, we have a dynamic pricing model, which means that prices do change.
TT week, when we have a motorbike race, that's all.
Absolutely, which is a standard customer practice in the hotel marketplace. What we do though is we cap our rates so that we never we never gouge our customers on the back of one-off events. We'd rather have very long-term relationships with our loyal guests, and that they know that we're charging a fair price based on the demand at any particular point in time.
And your customers, are they people who just like weekends when they don't want to drive home, or a taxi home in the Isle of Man, or will holidaymakers see this as somewhere to go? Because obviously the view is just looking at a car park at Marks and Spencer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's all of those. So firstly, we do know that locals will treat themselves to a night and someone else cooking them breakfast if they've had a night out at the weekend. We know that. We also know that business guests flying in will see the consistency and the credibility of Premier Inn, and therefore they will more likely stay and then use the wider hospitality facilities in the local area. So we think that's a stimulus to the local economy. But in terms of holidaymakers, as I've mentioned before, we distribute our product in the vast majority through our own direct digital assets, and on that basis the Isle of Man is now going to be seen by 1 to 2 million people a week who currently don't see that, because what we know is that we have very loyal leisure and business guests, in particular leisure guests, who look for places to go based on where Premier Inn is, and therefore we believe we will bring holidaymakers to the island, which will introduce them to the island and again provide a fiscal stimulus.
I mean, before you were here, there's hardly a name that people recognise globally. I mean, there was the Hilton, what was a Hilton, but it was only by name. It's now something else, isn't it? So were you surprised at the lack of the global players in our market?
Not surprised really, because I think it's the uniqueness in our model which enables us to come to this marketplace, and on that basis, the current penetration of of branded hotel stock on the island is 5% of the total hotel stock. That's against an index of the norm across the UK of 19%.
Yeah.
So you can see how unique this island is, and that's not unique to this island, it's unique to islands around the UK. But as I say, our unique model and the way that we own and operate all of our own hotels gives us the opportunity to come to marketplaces like this and provide some quality budget accommodation.
Okay, and finally back to one thing about the oversupply. You have been in the papers, media, about the situation. Are you comfortable with where your ideas are going when you're under pressure with your share price?
I mean, our share price is made up of many different things, isn't it? We have a very clear plan which we can link back to macroeconomic effects over the course of the last 20 years that we have been running this business, 20 to 30 years, and therefore we have a high degree of confidence that we're making the right strategic decisions, and there's no reason for us to be concerned at this point in time.
And will we get a second one if it goes well? I mean, like Jersey?
Why not? Why not?